Welcome to the volume profile method number 2. Today we'll dive in a little bit deeper into understanding how the volume profile works, how we can use it for intraday levels, and how we can use it to make longer term trading decisions. So let's dive in. As we discussed last week, we know now the volume profile represents the interests at certain price levels. So the more interest in certain price, the more the volume profile will expand. For example, here at 5130 there's a lot of interest. 5125 is a big interest. 5120 only has a little interest. 5115 very little interest. 5110 a little interest. 515 we have a lot of interest from buyers and sellers, and this is how a volume profile will get formed. I like to see it as on the trading floor. When certain prices come to certain levels, the guys on the trading floor become louder, so there is more and more and more volume building up. Now, how do we read a volume profile? So let's say we start off with a very balanced volume profile, just like this. A volume profile will have a few key components. So one of the key components is the price that is the most traded right here. We call this the POC, or the point of control. Every volume profile also has a value area that is 68% of the most traded volume inside the profile. Of course, we already explained we have different types of volume profiles. So we have a balanced profile. This means price has ranged all day inside this. We have a P profile that kind of looks something like this. So this is either price going down and coming back up, or price coming from down, getting back up and ranging right here, or we have a range and we lost it and price went down. We will dive deeper into this in a minute, no worries. And then we have a B profile, and it's shaped a little bit like this. Voila, same thing. Price has ranged here, it's gone up and it's gone, or price has come down and starts ranging here. It's also possible to have a B-shaped volume profile that will kind of look like this. And then we can assume that price was building up volume in here, and it shot out of this balance and started making a new value area up here. Now, in 80% of the times, it won't poke through and go back to this value area. But what it will do is fill this in to make this a balanced distribution. This is something that can happen a lot of times. What do we want to know about the volume profile? There's a few key components. As I said, you have the POC, and we have in the value area. This is a beautiful volume profile right here. So it could be the value area right about here somewhere, and our POC is right here. So what do we know? That in here is 68% of the value of the entire profile. So the most important value has been traded within this value area. Everything outside should have been sold right here and bought up right here. So we can assume if price leaves this value area, that it will become bought up. Now, what are some things we have to take in consideration? These are the high volume nodes and the low volume nodes. So every profile will have them. High volume nodes are the ones that's sticking out like this. And we have the low volume nodes. Now the high volume nodes I like to call distributions. 3. Voila. And the low volume distribution, voila, or places of interest. Voila. So where there's high volume nodes, the market is interested in transacting right here. The low volume nodes in the decision points. price tends to go rapidly through them to find places of distribution or interest. These are the ones where we trade, and the low volume nodes are the ones that I tend to look at. So how does that look in real life? Let's put up a profile like this. So these are the real volume profiles on NinjaTrader 1. Let's start with today's volume profile. A volume profile will always be developing. So the volume profile can start out with just this node, for example. Just go up, make this node like this, then come back, retest to make this node. Doesn't go lower because here we have a zone of indecision. We go higher and we search new places of interest. And like here, as you see, we have the value areas marked out and we have the POC marked out. So let's jump into how the distribution works. We can see it very clearly right here. So this volume profile opened up here and we have been ranging the entire day, thus making up this beautiful value area. Tested the downside, want to stay into value, test POC, go below the value area, above the POC, retest POC, look above the value area, retest POC, and then we shoot up. We make this new volume node right here. Afterwards, we go down. So we can see the value area has been used the entire day to trade. If you're a smart trader, you will catch the highs and catch the lows. Find your trading decision. The day after, we go down, making this B-shaped profile. This is not a perfect B shape, but you get my point. So, like this. What do we want to look at this profile? First of all, we want to understand that a B profile is a sign for a reversal. So we might have an upcoming reversal right here. Also, we have these higher nodes right here that we have to take in consideration. You see what happens when we draw a bigger line, it becomes the next day's value area. So these places are important. Volume has been built up here and the market wants to distribute this. Now here we have a clear example of a P profile. So this is a nice P profile. A P profile will always signal a reverse, but what I tend to look for after the P profile and after the B profile is a retest on the upside where we build volume right here, but we cannot hold the volume and the market will go down because so at the end of a trend I like to see a P profile for an uptrend, and for a downtrend we like to see a B profile where the volume is built up, can't go any higher, so we go back down. Volume is built up, can go any lower, so we go back up. Typically the day after or maybe 2 days after or a B profile there will be a retest of the upside and then we go down. How can we draw levels on this? Let's take a look into one of our profiles to see how it is being distributed. Let's just take this one. This is a beautiful one. 29th of February. These are 15-minute bars. For trading futures, I like to use 30-minute bars on my volume profile. But I think for teaching purposes that these 15-minute bars are much better. So what do we see here? We see the open. Right here, this is yesterday's close. Here we have the open. We see prices going up during Asia and forming a big volume node right here. We get a doji candle, retest of that doji candle. We go down and we start building volume up right here. As you can see, this used to be the value area of the London session, and then we open up the US session and we pop up and we build a lot of volume right here. At a given time we retest this volume node. Let's make it a little bit better for you. So you see this volume node, we retest it, but we don't need the value. So based on this you can have a great trading idea. If we cannot go into that volume node, if price gets rejected here, there's only one way price can go, and that is back up. Right here we leave the value area. If it doesn't want to get higher, we must fall back into value right as a POC. So these are some ways you can use the volume profile. Now let's take a look at the volume profile with a composite volume profile. This is what I like on my charts. I like the composite volume profile here on the right. This is actually a volume profile made out of the previous day's volume profiles. You will see when I shift it, the volume profile will change, value area will change, and the nodes will change. I like to see mine for this 3 days, so I can go back to yesterday or the day before. Unless we have a really huge move, then I like to see the longer days, because I would like to see the extensions. Now we know the POC of the last 3 days is 25.20. So this is something we can mark out. So it can be marked out on all of our maps. Like this, we can mark out the value area like this. So we can once again see the prices here left our value area quickly to come back downside of our value area and get back into this value zone. So this is what we look at. We look at value and how prices can move in or outside of value. Now, one really important thing is the next. When we look at the POC, now the POC is at 25.20. When we look at the POC, you will see it shift. So this means a few days ago, our POC was lower. When I see a low POC and I see it shift to the upside, for me, this is a bearish sign, because we are trading this node, this POC. If we cannot hold back above this POC, we will go down. Now, of course, if we hold above this POC, we can go up. All right. And let's see how we take levels according to our volume profile. So let's once again do the 3 last days. And what I did here is something very easy, actually. I just extended the value areas. So the blue lines are the value areas, the yellow lines are the POCs. So I extend them, and from there on, I will make some trading decisions. Like we see here, yesterday's POC is the bottom of today's profile. If we go past it, we lose it. We get this value area. If we can stay inside this value area, we will go down. So my trading decision, my next trading decision, will be based on this zone and how the order flow reacts at this zone. If we bounce back, then I will take a long. We shoot through, then I will short it at a retest. So I have other ones here, really good ones here as well. This value area, become the top of the other one, come down. There is something else we have to look at. In a day like this, we have this profile and this profile inside this profile's value area, as we can see. So I tend to look at this as just one value area. As you see, we retest this value area here again, right on the POC, the last one. Shoot up. Don't get mistaken, guys. This is a 20-point move. If you catch moves like this, you will make really good money. And once we look below this value area, retest these lows, and we cannot hold this, we go back in, back in, back in. You can enter on the break of this value area, exit. Next value area, you would have made 40 points, which is a very good number on ES for a day trader. Here I have an example of the developing value area, so that you can see that during the day our value area started here. Just a little disclaimer, I don't like to put these ones on my chart. I don't like to put the candles on my chart as well, because for me it is too messy. I just want to look at the volume profiles alone, and I look at the order flow. I also look at another chart that I will be showing you right away. So as we can see, we see the developing value area here. So the first hours of trading, our value area was right about here, this little node. Then we shut up, making this low volume node, or as we call it, a zone of no interest, in another high volume node. I'm going to make a new value zone right here. As you can see, next day value area kept kind of like the same until we drop down and we start building another value area in the first no interest zone. Why? Because the market wants to be balanced, so it will tend to fill. If we have profiles like this, the market will try and fill up these profiles to make them balanced. So if we trade it here and we trade it here, we can be sure that on occasion we will trade right in here, making this an efficient distribution. Et voila. Now let's take another look on next week's lesson, how I use my volume profile in conjunction with a footprint to scan for high probability buy or sell levels. So here's one of my charts that I use. So I use the volume profile that I know exactly where the delta is, the negative delta above, trap traders here above, selling delta below that couldn't pull through. And I'll give you a quick, like here in this area we have a lot of buying delta right at this little volume node. When price retests, we have a little bit of selling delta that cannot push through underneath this range. So my idea can be formed that in this sellers cannot win from the passive buyers here. We will start shooting up. Same happened here. We see trap traders, the price falling back. I actually took this trade for a 20-point trade a few days ago. As you can see right in this profile, we're also building a strong buy zone. So if price read this value area right here, I'm going to look for buys right in here. But this is something we will discuss next week. For now, if you find this interesting, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll talk again next week.